legal analyst and former U.S. Justice Department official in Washington, D.C. Mr. Zeldin, it's a pleasure having you here with us on TRT World. So the president wants to talk about fraudulent elections. The Senate wants to talk about his riot incitement. It sounds as though this is about to be a very farcical trial.
Well, hopefully not. The way the trial begins is that the House managers, the prosecutors who are former or present congressmen, they come over to the Senate and they present their evidence as if it was a trial and they were the prosecuting attorneys. Then the defense of Trump begins its case. So the manager's case will be a very serious proposition as to whether or not Trump incited a riot at the Capitol. How the defense proceeds is unclear because Trump has no defense lawyers. And as you said at the outset, the reason that he has no defense lawyers is that he still wants to go forward with the notion that the election was stolen from him, which is not a legal defense, which is not true, and which his lawyers refuse to present to the Senate because legal ethics precludes that. And so what happens with Trump may end up being farcical, but not from the side of the prosecutors who take this very, very seriously.
So, Mr. Zeldin, why exactly do you think Trump's lawyers eventually decided not to represent him? Do you think, would there have been consequences for them making legal filings on claims they know to be untrue, talking about the fraudulent election, that is?
Yes, well, this is not in a courtroom, so it's not clear exactly what standards of legal ethics apply to them, but their common sense as lawyers and their obligation to the rule of law and ethical presentations of viable defenses cause them to leave this case. Because what Trump is saying, this election was stolen from me, that has already been litigated in the courts multiple times in multiple court cases, and Trump has lost every single one of them. And so these lawyers are not about to revisit cases which courts all around the United States have already rejected.
If Trump is acquitted, which is the likelihood, it seems, what are your thoughts on a censure resolution, which one senator suggested?
Yeah, so a censure resolution is really just a black mark against your name. It has no legal consequences. It doesn't prevent you from running for office in the future. A conviction after impeachment could result in disqualification for running for future office, which is why the Democrats are so keen to proceed in that manner. So a censure resolution would be a mark against his name if it went forward. No president has ever been censured like this, and it therefore has some sort of symbolic meaning, but it has no practical consequences for the president.
And lastly, why impeach if things don't look to be going in the Democrats' favor?
Well, so you impeach in this case, not to remove him from office, obviously, because he's out of office, but to set a statement that inciting a riot in the United States Capitol cannot be normalized as appropriate behavior for anyone, let alone the President of the United States. And as I indicated, if he is convicted, and it's not foregone that he won't be, it tends that way, but you never know. But if he is convicted, then by a simple majority, 51 votes, he can then be formally disqualified from running for office in the future. And it's that they want to make the statement with respect to. They want to say what you did was an insurrection and you are going to be impeached for it. And because you're impeached for it, you're going to be disqualified from running for office in the future. That's the whole point that the Democrats are trying to make.
All right, former U.S. Justice Department official Michael Zeldin, thanks again for that. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.